We have Bibles at the ends of most of the rows. If you don't have a Bible of your own, please take one of those with you. It is our gift to you. No one will tackle you when you go out the door saying, "What are you doing stealing a Bible from the church?" We would just love for you to have one. We're in the book of Galatians in chapter 5. And before we get into that, before I read the passage to you, I want to ask that you would pray with me for a particular issue. I had the chance this last Monday to have lunch with Marie Waldron, who is for Temecula, not Murrieta. I live in Murrieta, but the church is in Temecula. She is the state assemblywoman for this district, the 75th district. And she had contacted me and wanted to get together and have lunch with me. I thought, what for? We had a splendid time together. And one of the things that she had said that I thought was really worthy of note, she's a Republican, she's an Escondido, she's really quite wonderful. She was talking about so many stories of what God was doing in Sacramento, in this place where it seems like the enemy is ruling the roost. And the Lord is still really at work in powerful ways. But I was struck by, there's a bill coming out that actually didn't go to vote. It's, what is it called, AB 2943 or something like that. Basically, the bill that's being put forth is by an assemblyman named Evan Lowe. He is a very, very broken homosexual man. And he has, I think, been really hurt by lots of well-meaning people trying to help him recover from from what's going on in his life. And so he actually, Marie said that when he was putting the bill forward before the House, or before the State Assembly, that he did so with tears just running down his face. And she said it struck her how broken he was. And I really appreciated that because it humanized this quite a bit for me, where it's easy to see this bill as something that's just demonic and that all the players are just really non-factors and that this is just something that the devil is brokering. But the bill is basically, is going to vote, and I think it's going to vote, well, the session starts at 6, which is tomorrow, I believe. And when that comes to vote sometime this week, and basically this particular bill says that if someone wants to get out of a gender-confused identity, that they cannot seek help, that no one, a therapist or a pastor, no one can give them any help in that they are basically kind of frozen in that place because some people have been hurt by people trying to deprogram, et cetera, et cetera. And certainly people have been hurt in that. So I wouldn't even try to controvert that. But the bill is not a good bill. And so I want to ask that you would just pray with me. Really, the idea is, and somebody asked me, Bob, if this bill passes, what are you going to do? And it's like, well, I'll just be disobedient to it. I mean, if somebody comes to me and wants to get free from a lifestyle that's destructive to them, I'm going to help them, even if it's so soon, whatever, But I can't not do that because the state says otherwise. And here's how that works, that we obey the laws of the land insofar as the laws of the land cooperate with the heart of God. But where the laws of the land and the heart of God don't see eye to eye, we go with the Lord. Does that make sense? And so you might call that civil disobedience or whatever you want to call it, but I would prefer that this bill doesn't go through. This changes nothing for me in terms of how I'm going to conduct my life and how we conduct our ministry here. But I would say that it's a bad bill. It's just it's a bad bill. And so would you pray with me on that, please? Lord, our state is just so out of whack. It's kind of incredible. And we, as a small representative piece of our state, we come before you together. And we ask you for your help, for your mercy, for your intervention. Lord, I can't remember what the bill's number is. It's immaterial. You know what the bill is. And you know what it's promoting. And Lord, we're asking now before you that you would intervene, that somehow that this thing would get blown up, that it would not pass. And Lord, what tends to happen in California tends to be set the precedent here, and then it moves eastward. And Lord, we would like for something very different to happen. That we would like for a fire of the Holy Spirit, a move of God that is beautiful and lovely and loving and graceful and life-changing would begin in California, and that fire would spread eastward. We're asking for that instead of this. But we ask you, Lord, together, would you have mercy on our state and not let this go through, Lord? Have mercy and intervene. Have mercy. Would you just pause the Lord with me on that? Have mercy with us. And don't let this go through. Help. As well, Lord, and how broken he is. And I pray that somehow you would get your love to him, that you would get under his defenses, that somehow you would become real to you. Jesus, your love would become real to him. And that you would bring some Christians who really will love him and love him how he is. Not how they want him to be, that they would love him how he is. And that somehow that you would get through to him. And that you would diffuse the radical nature of the things that are going on inside of him, that the enemy is using and manipulating because of his brokenness. Help. 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 We ask you, Lord, that you would have mercy on us and our state. Because we care about this country, we care about our state, we care about our cities. We care about the people. And so we ask you, Lord, have mercy and help. We ask this, Jesus, because you alone really can make something happen that is beautiful and that is glorious. Amen.
Amen.
Well, I wouldn't normally be bringing a political kind of thing to you, but I just felt like this is a time. One of the things that Marie had said to me as well was that very interesting that a woman, I think it was in the district of Cucamonga or something of that sort, that a woman got elected into office. She was really excited about coming into her office for the first day. And there were a couple of bills that she had said that she was on board with, and that when she came in, there were 200 calls from people that were not happy about that. And it was interesting because Marie said that really affected her. That she knows that she's elected by people. And that when people are not satisfied with them, with elected officials, they actually are affected by that, and they do possibly change. And so I want to say to you, make your voice heard. If you disagree with something that's going on with Assemblywoman or man, if you disagree with something that's going on in the Senate or the House of our state, call your representative and make your voice heard. Does that make sense?
Amen.
Make your voice heard. You have a vote. It seems like sometimes you say, well, I'm just one vote, so I can't really do anything. But honestly, it's all just one vote that are all collected together, and those create a voice.
Amen.
We must be heard. You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so some of you are like, oh no, the pastor's gotten all political on us, and so he can't actually hear what he's saying today. So with that in mind, I'll pray after I read it. I want to read to you from verse 13 of Galatians 5. It goes like this. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. But do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you will not do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you're not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. And since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit or follow the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking each other and envying one another. Would you pray with me? Lord, as we do this final message and introducing the person and work of the Holy Spirit, we've seen a lot of dimensions and we've just scratched the surface. And it's almost embarrassing to me to talk about you and try to say things that have some completeness because you are so grand and so giant and so near and so participatory and so personal. But I want to ask you this morning that you would work in a way that causes us to leave this room walking in the Spirit, walking the Spirit-Infused life in a way that we never have before. I ask for those who have not walked this way, for you to energize them for the first time, and those that have but are not, that you would infuse us and inspire us once more to walk this beautiful, Spirit-infused, Spirit-led life. Jesus, I'm putting all of my eggs in this basket. So use me, I ask, in your name. Amen. Religious. If someone labeled you religious, how would you think? Religious. He's a religious guy. I've had people say that about me before. Well, this guy's religious. I'm religious. And I think that most of us in this room would probably feel uncomfortable being called religious because somehow it describes the traffic, but it misses I don't chew up with girls who do kind of thing, that we just have this set of things that we know people perhaps they've acted religious, they've attended church, they've seen themselves as morally superior and critical of others, separate from the world, religious. But is that what Jesus is actually looking for? Religious. Is Jesus, if you stand before Jesus on that day when you give an account for your life and you say, Lord, I was religious, do you think it's going to go well? No, it's not. That's not the point. The point is not religion. So let me say this differently. That you can get religion and not get Jesus. You can get religion and not get Jesus. And this is the heart of the message of Galatians. That you can live out one of three different kinds of spheres. The first sphere is the sphere of the flesh. That is, and when we say flesh in the Bible, that means that means simply that which will not last. The temporary, the weak, and in this particular case, the temporary, the weak, and that which is leaning away from God. The flesh. You can live out of the flesh. Secondly, though, he gives a second option, which is closely related to a continual relationship with the God who loves you and has made his home in you. Religion are very closely related because really religion is doing God's stuff with your own strength. And it just simply won't work. And that the spirit realm is something completely different and opposite of that. Now, the truth is that Jesus' death and resurrection opened up the prison doors for us and freed us from captivity to both sin, to sin, evil, and death. He opened up the prison door so we're no longer prisoners to those things. The reign has been broken. But the question that comes with that is, then, if you have that freedom, what do you do with that freedom? And that's where those three paradigms kind of come into play. What do we do with that freedom? We can head back into the prison of what is familiar to us, the flesh. We can head into conformity in our displays of religion, or, as Paul teaches here, we can walk with the one who opened the doors and took us by the hand and let us out. Amen. And that's Paul's conviction here, is that there's flesh, there's religion, and there's spirit, and he is actually trying to create enough polarity that we won't choose flesh, we won't choose religion, that we will choose the spirit and the spirit-led life. And so this is a long-winded kind of a big idea, but there's a lot in this passage I'm trying to cram into kind of 150 statements. That God's Spirit brings freedom. That much we have seen. Both from our old identities and from empty religion. As well as the Spirit produces Jesus' family likeness in us as we choose to yield to and to walk in concert with him. Let me say that one more time. That God's Spirit brings freedom, both from our old identities and from empty religion, as well as he produces Jesus' family likeness in us as we choose to yield to and walk in connection or in concert with him. Now, in this section that we're looking at, we'll see that flesh, religion, and spirit are played out in real life. Now, in Galatians, in this central area of Turkey, that's where Galatia is, of modern-day Turkey, that there are, in the young churches there are a group of Jewish believers that are Jewish believers in Messiah, Jesus, but they're coming in and basically imposing on all of the believers these kind of ideas that you have to be circumcised, you have to obey the Jewish holy days, you have to get really Jewish to be really pleasing to God. It's great that you got saved by grace, but here's how you get spiritual. This is how you get more spiritual. So at stake is not necessarily how you get saved. At stake is how you grow from being saved and what it means to be so. That's all giving away their freedom, that they are kind of reverting back to either the flesh, probably not, mostly into this religious lifestyle. And he starts this in verse 33, or 13, sorry. That you, my brothers and sisters, he says, you are called to be free. Free. Free from sin, free from evil, free from death, free from that slavery. But do not use that freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping one command: love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, which is apparently what's happening, that's what religion does, that if you bite and devour each other, watch out or you'll be destroyed by each other. And so the first thing that we live this life in front of us, definitely in front of the 12. They watched him do this, and then Jesus began them with this whole idea. He said in Matthew 20, and then he points the finger at him and says, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, even though he deserved to be served, but to serve and to give his life. To serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. After undressing himself down to his skin, he washes the disciples' feet very slowly, very deliberately on the night that he's been betrayed. He washes even his betrayer's feet. And this is just a lot of data being portrayed right there before them. And they are having a hard time. Peter's the one that voices it, Lord, I don't want that. But Jesus said this at the conclusion of washing their feet. He said, I have set for you an example that you should do as I have done for you. You should do as I have done for you. This is to be the DNA of this entire movement. Now that we know these things, we'll be blessed if we do them. So Jesus' DNA is servant DNA. And I know that this is a little hard to get our minds around, but Jesus is not being inconsistent with who God is on the whole. That God is a servant. It's the creation that has gone rogue. And God says, come in and serve with me. That's it to us. Now, I'm a late bloomer, let's just say, in the loving service for me. I think I can honestly say that the people in my family would say, no, Dad, you finally did get it, but you were slow to the dance. And that is that I think my wife is such a strong server, and she has a strong gift of helps, and I let her do pretty much everything. She was so helpful. And it's like, well, wow, she's serving us all the time. And this is great, and we'll keep going, honey. And then it all came to a head years ago when I was sitting at our island in our kitchen, and I crumpled up a piece of paper, I threw it and about 5 feet away, and I missed. And the piece of paper sat on the floor right there. And the thought occurred to me, which was probably the Spirit, if you don't pick it up, thank you will. Wait, what? What? And then I realized I had to reel back and say, wait a minute, all of our married life, I've essentially let her do all of these things. I have not gotten on the playing field. And the truth is that serving didn't come naturally to me. It did not come naturally. And I'm still learning. The reality is that I serve this church by leading, but I'm in this church's servant. That's the truth. And I was slow to the dance, and as I started to exercise this loving service muscle, I have found that there's a profound and very real joy that comes into my life in doing so. And that I found that as I've served, that I've actually found myself. It's awakened parts of me that I didn't even know existed. That's how service works, is that when you start laying down your life, you start serving, you start loving, you start getting beyond yourself. You discover things about yourself that Jesus has created in you and that he's starting to bring out and bring to life. And it's beautiful. And it's freedom and it's joy. And you can hardly even imagine that was something that could actually happen. Wait a minute, I feel fully alive, certainly. Whereas for most of my adult life, I did not. But I didn't serve, so I really didn't even get on the playing field. What about you? This is for everyone. This is not just for me. And then Paul gets down into the weeds a little bit about how we do this. He says this. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. See, an issue is that the Judaizers, this turbo-religious set of Jewish believers, they are basically trying to say, you need the law, you need all of these things to check these bad inclinations inside of you. And Paul says, no. Walk by the Spirit, and you won't gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit desires what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you will not do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you're not under law. So the Jews, the agitators, as Paul calls them, who call them the Judaizers, that's typically what Americans in the West call them, that they're saying that we need the Jewish law and the rules to keep us from plunging back into our pagan past. We need them. They're the things that keep the flesh in check. They're the things that sort of police those things. No, not free you, that you've been freed so that you've not been freed, so that you can live in a police state. You've been freed so that you can walk by the Spirit. And the Spirit who lives in you is the one who helps you to walk in that freedom. And so that brings us to our second point, which is that there will always be conflict between the Spirit and the flesh, a tug of war, if you will. But walking in the Spirit is God's solution, not better rules. You say that one more time. There will always be conflict between flesh and spirit. But walking in the Spirit is the solution, not more and better rules. Then in recent years, I've seen a trend, particularly called the buzzword is accountability. And the accountability is this idea that we get together, 2 or 3 of us get together, and we kind of are partners to go a little bit underneath the surface and to kind of check us and to check up on us and to keep us from kind of going into areas of sin. And I think that's actually really positive. I have an accountability group that I meet with. But the reality is that an accountability group can also kind of turn into the sin police squad. And the reality is that no one is ever more accountable than they want to be. No one ever has been more accountable than they want. And so it is a submission to each other and that is working in concert with the power assist, if you will, of the Holy Spirit. That your accountability partners are to work with the Spirit, and the Spirit's working your conscience, not the other way around. The Spirit isn't saying, hey, I'm going to come alongside of you to do that. No, I want you to come alongside of me in the work that I'm already doing. The Spirit says, I want you to cooperate with me. I want you to walk in the light. I want you to confess your sins to one another. I want you to pray for each other so that you can be healed. Those are all very scriptural things. And those things need to happen in the context of a group that is not just a group like this. It's simply a secret. And probably almost all of you would not let down your guard with a group of people this big. You need a small group to do so. And you need people to call you and check up on you. But understand this, that they are calling and checking them to, because the Holy Spirit is at work inside of you, and they're cooperating with Him. Is that clear? It's actually, it's not trivial. I'm not just splicing words. In this connection with Jesus, the Spirit will convict and guide us. He'll check us, if you will. That's what I would call it. He provides the check in our hearts. I would call this the of the Holy Spirit. And you know this. If you've heard it before, I think a lot of times we just kind of steamroll over that. But the Spirit of God is doing that all the time with us. He's sparking in our consciences. So let's just play this out for a minute. So you're talking with someone and you're about to share some really spicy news about someone else, read gossip. And you're about to say that and the Spirit says, and you don't follow through with it because the Spirit says, and then the person that you're talking to is like, no, now you have my appetite. Now I really want to know what this is. You have to say, pick another scenario here. And you're on your computer, and in the sidebar, and you know that they're zooming on you. You know this, right? And so as they're watching how you shop, they see you when you're sleeping, they know when you're awake, all those different things. And so it's amazing that I will shop for some watches and things like that, and then all the watches that I looked at are on sidebars and everything throughout my browser. It's like they're saying, buy me. But then, every once in a while, let's just say that there's an attractive person, according to the attractive people that you like, and you feel the mouse kind of moving over the top of that. You click on it, the Spirit says, it doesn't. There's no giant. Usually the thunder doesn't crack. Normally lightning doesn't come through the window or anything like that. The Spirit says. My friends used to say it's like a butterfly landing on your shoulder. He's like a butterfly landing on your shoulder and then leaving. But it is the. Someone says something or about you. And as you fill your lungs up to retort that, the Spirit says, and you decelerate. You are working in concert with the Spirit of God. You're walking by the Spirit. You're being led by the Spirit. This is God's check and balance. He's not brought you here to just set up a whole bunch of hard boundaries so that if you live in those things, you're safe. God does not want robots. He wants kids. He wants friends. And that's you and that's me. Does that make sense to you? Really important in this. The Spirit of God is the one who's checking you. Jesus said that in John 16:8. He said, He, the Holy Spirit, will convict the world of sin. That means us as well. And we need to know, but I think that it's important, however, to know what we're looking for, because I think a lot of times we don't recognize the flesh, when we're whack-a-moling, but the flesh kind of, when you're hitting the flesh, but you need to know what you're looking for. And so Paul says, this is obvious. He says, the acts of the flesh, they're obvious. Sexual immorality, which I'm going to give you a little bit of fill out here. That would be fornication, sex outside of marriage. And the word literally means you're selling off your sexual purity. That's what that means. He says impurity or uncleanness or that which sullies your heart, your spirit. Debauchery is basically licentiousness. It's living with no boundaries. It's kind of shocking indecency. Idolatry, that's obvious, is bowing down before idols, etc., etc. That's their context at that point in time. I think there are many idols in America, but we're not bowing down to them in the same way that they did then. That needs a whole thing all in itself. And witchcraft or sorcery, that is dealing to the occult. He says hatred and hostilities are the works of the flesh, the discord and jealousy and bursts or fits of rage. He says selfish ambition and dissensions and turning into factions or divisions and moods of envy. Those are all works of the flesh. He says drunkenness. He doesn't say don't have a drink of wine. He says drunkenness is a work of the flesh. And then orgies here is this whole kind of mega theme of wild partying. That's basically what's being said. And all the like, he says. So he said, this just gets you going so that you understand, so that you can identify the works of the flesh, at least a bit. And it's a good running start. And then he says, I warn you as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. Paul says very straightforwardly, the flesh acts not. That its deeds are obvious. That much is obvious. And I think that I agree with the scholars who say that Paul isn't that his readers are doing these things. It's more of a rearview mirror at who they were and where the way that the world is going. And that's where the temptations are going to come from. But he is warning them nonetheless. And when Scripture warns us, we must take that seriously. We must take it seriously. What is he saying here to us? This is number 3 in your bulletin. That we need to recognize the flesh, label it, don't mislabel it, but label it, and it's... I think that frequently what ends up happening is we will minimize the gravity and the price of going with the flesh. No big deal, God will forgive me. But it is a big deal. Let's just imagine for a second that you go into a store with some really, really pricey merchandise. And you walk over and you see this coat that you think is probably worth $500, but the price tag on it only says 10. And so you say, wow, I'm going to buy this because it's... But the reality is it's a very expensive piece of merchandise. This is this way with the works of the flesh. And it simply is, Paul is saying that if we want to minimize our sin, it's simply not how God sees it. It's not how God sees it. That this kind of flesh is very expensive. It cost Jesus his life. And quite frankly, Paul says heaven will not be populated with it. That's what's being said. Heaven will not be populated. And so I want to say to you this morning that if you're trapped in any of it, this is your lucky day. If you're trapped in, the Spirit of God is knocking on the door of your heart. And he's saying, would you turn back to me? Would you change direction? Would you come to me? Would you let me bring my kind of freedom? Come, please. Come to me. Would you turn, change directions? That's the Spirit. And the Spirit of God is saying, will you respond to me? He's the one that's putting this squeeze on your heart. Don't get upset with me because this is what the Scripture says. The reality is that my Christ, but there is a different way. And that brings us to verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit, so the acts or the works of the flesh, this is the fruit of the Spirit, is love, joy, peace, patience or forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, there is no law. What's he saying? He's saying, if you got these things working, you don't need any laws. You don't need anybody checking you on this or that. If you were created to be loved. Those who belong to Jesus, he says, have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. And then he finishes this off by saying, since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us keep in step with the Spirit. And so the fourth thing that we see in this passage is that when we walk with the Spirit, Jesus' family likeness emerges in us naturally over time. One more time. When we walk with the Spirit, Jesus' family likeness begins to emerge naturally over time. So a couple of things that need to be said about this. Firstly, the fruit are not qualities that you work really hard to produce. I'm working on this bad character trait, and so I'm pulling myself up by my bootstraps. No, these are the natural results of walking in the Spirit. That's what he's saying. In this continual way, over a long period of time, this kind of fruit comes. So you've heard me say this before, but this bears saying again. Imagine you're down a row of trees in an orange grove. And if you are listening really quietly, really closely, maybe you'll hear a orange. Another orange. No, you won't hear that. Why? Because orange trees produce oranges naturally. If the soil and the conditions are there for the oranges to be produced, then the tree will produce it naturally. That's what Jesus is saying to us through this passage in Galatians. Work hard to produce. They produce it because that's what they're made for. And that's what this walking out of the Spirit is. When the conditions are right, and I would say that they're attended to, let's just say the soil prep. The soil has nutrients in it, there's watering, there's fertilizing, there's sunlight. Those things happen, and orange trees produce oranges all by themselves. I don't know if you've ever been in a place where you've seen an orange grove when it was full of fruit, where the trees were... I didn't even know until I moved out to Southern California that an orange tree can have so much fruit on it that all of its branches will almost break because there's so much fruit hanging off it. I never even knew that was possible. Like, that is just incredible. But the reality is, you and I were born for this. We were born for this. And it is this walking with the Spirit that puts the soil in the right place for fruit bearing. And when we continue to maintain this connection with the Spirit, the fruit comes naturally. And lastly, that the fruit never ever comes instantaneously. Imagine with me for a moment that you go out to a farm in the middle of Kansas, and you sit and you talk to a farmer, and you say, hey, I want you to come out. We're preparing the soil. He prepares the soil, tills all the soil and everything. The soil is right. Then he goes and he plants all the seeds, and you're right there with him with the seeds, and he plants it. Then he runs his tractors and everything that are doing all the watering, he waters everything, and then it's an exhausting day. You go home, you sit down, you have a good night's sleep. You wake up the next morning. Well, let's just say that the farmer says to you, hey, let's go out there and see what kind of crop he's got. And then he walks out and he's like, what happened? Where's my harvest? I mean, I planted all the seed, I watered it, I did everything I'm supposed to. Why is it not there? And you would say correctly, even coming from your city dweller, you would say, excuse me, but doesn't it take time for something to grow? And you'd say, no, of course that's true. That these things happen over time, that fruit takes time. It takes a continual effort of sowing the good seed. And so Paul even kind of uses this terminology in the next chapter where he says, whoever sows to please the flesh will from the flesh reap destruction. It will kill you. And whoever sows to please the Spirit from the Spirit will reap eternal life. So let us not grow weary in doing well or doing good. For at the proper time, or the way that NAS translation says, in due time, that is, you plant the seed, you wait, it germinates, a sprout comes up, it breaks the surface, it grows up, branches grow up, blossoms, and fruit. That in the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Walk in the Spirit. Be led by the Spirit. Paul uses 4 different phrases within this short amount of text, and it's beautiful. He says, walk in the Spirit, be led by the Spirit, live by the Spirit, follow the Spirit's lead. We just give a comment for all 4 of these. He said, walk in the Spirit, that is, you're staying connected and consistently together. He said, being led by the Spirit, that you're going somewhere in a particular direction together. Live by the Spirit, that is, starting to see all of life, both the sacred and the secular, all together, that the Spirit of God doesn't have this sacred and secular type of a thing. All of it's the same to him. So at home, at work, at school, wherever that you are, all those things, the Spirit of God is alive and at work. He's not taking a break because you're not at church and saying, hey, I'll see you at church next Sunday. No, he's at work all the time. And he's saying, I want you to work with me. I want you to stay in touch with me. I want you to see all of life as saturated with my presence. And then the last word that's being used here is keep in step, or follow the Spirit's lead, means literally that it is a military term where a commanding officer is in the front and the junior officer is right behind. That the Spirit is the one that's in front, he's doing the leading, and you are following in his footsteps. And this is what we're being invited into, walking in the Spirit. What does this look like? Because it seems like, okay, so Bob, yeah, that's all really good. So how do I walk in the Spirit? Well, let me give you 5, at least, ways of getting on the playing field. Firstly, I would say that it starts with living in constant conversation with the Spirit. Simply don't hang up the phone. Continue to talk with the Lord. It's not just, Lord, I really want your leadership. Please lead me today. Amen. See you later. And then we just go off and we do whatever that we want to do. It doesn't work like that. Walking in the Spirit means that you and I are participating with the Spirit in everything that we do. So at work, if something starts to heat up at work, and if you start to heat up and the Spirit gives you the then you decelerate. Because the Spirit of God is just as involved at work as he is here. Secondly, hide God's word in your heart so that the Spirit has something to remind you. Read it and read it slowly. Listen for the voice of the Spirit in the text of Scripture. Listen every day. Read slowly and milk it for everything that's there. And there is so rich. I had a mentor of mine early on who said that every time I open up the Word of God, I get a chance to hear the voice of the God of the universe. And that started to calibrate my expectation for what happens every time that I open up the Word. I'm expecting to hear the voice of God in the Word of God. And he interacts. It's beautiful. Thirdly, expect the Spirit to lead. That is, as you're going through your day and you're in that dialogue with the Holy Spirit, you look, you listen, you converse, you're attentive to all of the signs and the things that the Holy Spirit's doing. Notice and look for places where you can plug in and serve. If you look for where you can plug in and serve and love people by serving, the Holy Spirit will give you no end of divine appointments on it. That's one of the things that we can be assured of. Is that if you're looking for places to serve and love people through serving, the Spirit of God will say, open door, 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 open door. But if you say, Lord, I want, would you bless what I'm doing? Close door. Wait. You're on my team, right? No. I'm on your team. No. You're on my team. So, and I think that we get confused on this because we kind of think, well, God is with me. Well, yes, he is. But the reality is that in Christ, the salvation that you have brought you on God's team. He's not on your team. You're on his team. And he's the one who has the right to lead, right? Does that make sense? Hello? So it's one of those things for us where I think that we often, and I get this wrong too, so I'm not pointing any fingers at you. Because often I say, Lord, I want you to do what I'm blessing. I want you to bless what I'm doing. And the Lord says, no, I want you to do what I'm doing. Fourth, slow down. And declutter your life so that the Spirit's promptings aren't reflected. I think one of the problems with us is that we typically are moving at such a furious pace that the Spirit's and promptings, it just bounces off of us. We're just deflecting right and left because we're so busy. We're going so fast. And then lastly, when to do this, I think you're also going to have to say no when the flesh rears its ugly head, and yes to the Spirit, and to start looking for opportunities to serve, and God will do it. I'm going to tell you, this will happen in spades if you start doing this week. I can't promise you that you'll have, all of a sudden, there'll just be a tree. It just doesn't work. But I can tell you that there's a lot of joy in growing in this food at the time. Because God is good. And he wants you and I on his plane. He wants you and I playing our part on his team. So let me reiterate, and then I have a prayer that I would like to pray for with us together. Reiterating here that the freedom Jesus fought for you and I is a freedom to love. Serve one another in love. Secondly, that there will always be a flesh and spirit conflict, but walking in the Spirit is the solution, not more and better rules. Thirdly, we need to recognize the flesh, label it for what it really is, and its sober price tag correct it. And then lastly, walking with the Spirit produces Jesus' family likeness in us naturally over time. So, as I was praying for you, our neighbor's car alarm went off at 3:15 this morning. It went off in 15 minutes. And so I did a complete rewrite of this at 3:30. And I wasn't upset, luckily, because I think I got a neighbor. I just stop now, Lord, and I didn't even know you were about it. But I wrote this prayer, and it's a simple prayer, to ask the Holy Spirit to help us to walk in this. And so would you stand with me for a moment? And worship team, if you would come up. And I'd like to pray this prayer together, and it's at the bottom of your bulletin insert. So it's a prayer I want to ask you. I want to invite you. And I want to, for those of you for whom this is meaningful, I want to quadruple dog dare you to do this, to ask you to pray this prayer. And see what happens. But if you would pray this prayer aloud, actually, I'm going to pray it aloud in front of you, and then I'm going to ask you, so you're not just looking at words and praying them like, I don't know if I buy that or not. Listen first, and then we'll do it together. Lord, I want to walk in the Spirit all the time, every day. So, Holy Spirit, I ask for your help. I slow down so I can recognize and respond to your prompting. I will look for opportunities to join you and serve, love others. Holy Spirit, please lead me. Let me walk with you today. I submit to your leadership and look forward to your fruit in my life. In Jesus' name. Would you pray this with me, please? Aloud. Lord, I want to walk in the Spirit all the time, every day. So, Holy Spirit, I ask for your help. I slow down so I can recognize and respond to your promptings. I will look for opportunities to join you and serve and love others. Holy Spirit, please lead me. Let me walk with you today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I submit to your leadership and look forward to your fruit in my life. In Jesus' name. Let me just pray for us along with that. Lord, this is a very simple process. I don't believe that this is rocket science, but it is world-changing stuff nonetheless. I thank you, Lord, that for practically 2,000 years of church history, people without education completely and people with PhDs and everything in between have prayed simple prayers and have walked in the Spirit. I thank you that men and women, young and old, application of their own life, that they have walked with them, and it's been beautiful. And it's all because you, Father, are good. And so we embrace, Lord, moving and walking in the Spirit because of your goodness and because of the finished work done for us on the cross by Jesus. You invited us in. You paid the full ticket. You've given us this inheritance. You put it all into the bank account that is the human heart. You put the full installment there. And we want to walk this out. We want to walk.
There was a 6-year-old woman. He got one meal a day. His clothes were torn and tattered and dirty. His shoes, if you could call it that, had holes in the bottom so he could feel his feet on the ground when he walked. One day, a man in his suit picked him up in this awesome car. Rafik didn't know where he was. The man in the suit, when they arrived, opened the door and got him out. He looked at this house. It was like a mansion or a castle to this little boy's eyes. And he looked down at it himself, and he knew he didn't belong there. He smelled. He was dirty. He had barely any shoes on. The man in the suit took his hands and walked him up. And guess what? Rafik got to take his first ever bubble bath. And then the man in the suit presented him with a selection of clothes to put on and shoes and socks. The man in the suit then walked him down to a room with a table that had more food than he had ever seen. And he thought to himself, what is this? This can't be real. This isn't going to last. I know where I belong. Little did Rafik know that he had been adopted into this family, and this was his new home and his new family. What Christ did on the cross for us is the same thing. He's invited us in and adopted us and made us one of his kids. We're not in our torn and tattered and dirty clothes anymore. He's made us clean, wearing robes of righteousness, that we can come boldly to him and commune with God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Luke 22 it says, and he took bread, gave it to them, saying, this is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, this cup is the new covenant and out for you. We're going to take communion. We're going to do it individually rather than corporately. So you'll come up and get the elements, take them back to your seat. Take the time with Jesus to, if there's something that you need to confess it. If there's anything, any barrier between you and him, just take the time to talk to him about it. Or if you simply need to just meditate on what his sacrifice has done for you, do that. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your sacrifice. We thank you that your blood was shed for us and your body broken so that we can come into relationship with you and commune with you, Father. We love you and thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. You can come.
Lord Jesus, come in glory.
What an amazing thing that these elements very costly adoption, that you brought us into your family, and we were cleansed and made blameless and holy by the work of your Son on the cross. And you freely gave him for us, Father. Incredible. Incredible. How could we not live for you generously? That you have poured out your life for us. And so I ask you now, Lord, that you would take these tithes and these offerings and these gifts that we give them out of gratitude to you. That you were extravagant in giving the life of your Son. But it didn't stop there. It was not only that, but that you have loaded us up with an eternal inheritance that was all deposited into our account. And so out of our gratitude, Lord, we give to you. Would you receive these gifts, these tithes and these offerings, receive them. Give them as an act of worship. And we also, at the same time, Lord, we lift up every person here that is either unemployed or underemployed. And we ask, Lord, that you would wrap your arms around them and that you would show us what our part is, how we can help meet needs in this situation. Receive these gifts. Ushers, if you would come forward, please. Receive these gifts now in Jesus' name. Amen.
All invite you in, but I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I used to think that I could invite you in, but I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. So I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I'm laying down all my religion. I'm laying down. I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord. Lord, I've been told to be ashamed. Lord, I've been told I don't measure up. Lord, I've been told I'm not good enough. But you're here with me. Hallelujah. I reach out and you find me in the dust. You say no amount of untruths can separate us. I reach out. I reach out and you find me in the dust. Say no amount of untruth can separate us. I reach out and you find me in the dust. Say no amount of untruth can separate us. I will rejoice. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I reach out and you find me in the dust. Say no amount of untruth can separate us. I will rejoice. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. I will rejoice in the simple gospel. I will rejoice in you, Lord. Come set your rule and reign in our hearts again. Increase in us, we pray. Unveil our and come set our hearts ablaze with hope, like wildfire in our daily souls. Holy Spirit, come, invade us now. We are
Well, let's take the time to kind of pray out, but also take the time to thank the Lord as He gave us this counsel, this entity, this third person of the Trinity to work in us. So if you can just bow your heads and pray with me. Lord, I thank you. I thank you for giving us the Holy Spirit, your counselor, Lord. I thank you for this series that Bob has preached to us. And I just ask that we, as a body, as a congregation, can grab hold of all these dimensions. This was just, we just uncovered the surface of what it is to walk with the Spirit. But that you can go back in your time and review this and spend some quiet time with Him and ask Him to reveal Himself to you of what it is to walk with Him. That every morning we get up and the first thing we say is, good morning. And then, as Bob stated today, we continue to stay in that conversation throughout the entire day. We never hang up the phone. So, Father, let us walk with the conviction of He who resides in us, that Holy Spirit, that counselor who left us. And let us go out and be light into this world. Let us be difference makers. Let us love one another. Let us love those who we see as the unloved. Let us be bridge builders, Lord. Let's bring your kingdom here. So I ask, as we walk out, Lord, please continue to whisper us and let us really turn to you and hear that and not turn away, but answer and respond. So I ask this, Lord, in every single person, in your precious name.